Everyone, and welcome to today's video. This is a B1 level grammar lesson. We're continuing our discussion of the passive voice. Today we're looking at passive with object complement verbs. Alright, so now take a look at these sentences and see if you can change the active into passive sentences. You can pause the video and try this on your own and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. So number 1, the cake wasn't made by my mother. Number 2, the 30 people were injured by the explosion. And for numbers 3 and 4, there are two passives that are possible. Either the students were given homework by the teacher, homework was given to the students by the teacher, Peter was passed the ball by Tom, or the ball was passed to Peter by Tom. Look at the verbs again. Which verbs are transitive and which verbs are ditransitive? Remember that transitive verbs take a direct object and ditransitive verbs take both a direct and an indirect object. So my mother didn't make the cake. Didn't make is the verb. Cake is the direct object. So this one is transitive. The explosion injured 30 people. Injured is the verb. People is the direct object. So this one is also transitive. The teacher gave homework to the students. So here, gave is the verb, homework is the direct object, and students is the indirect object. So this one is ditransitive. And Tom passed Peter the ball. So passed is the verb, ball is the direct object, Peter is the indirect object. So this one is ditransitive. So let's take a look at ditransitive verbs again, and there are two patterns for verbs with two objects. The indirect object comes after the direct object. The indirect object is preceded by to or for. So we have the sentence structure would be subject, verb, direct object, indirect object. So the man gave the book to the child. The boy bought a gift for his friend. The other pattern is that the indirect object comes before the direct object and to and for are not used. So the structure is subject, verb, indirect object, direct object. The man gave the child the book. The boy bought his mother a postcard. If the indirect object is preceded by to, two passive sentences are possible. For example, the active sentence, Tom passed the ball to Peter. The two options for passive would be the ball was passed to Peter, Peter was passed the ball. But if the indirect object is preceded by for, only one passive sentence is possible in American English. So Tiber drew a picture for Sally. The only passive option is a picture was drawn for Sally. You cannot say Sally was drawn a picture. So for each sentence with an indirect object preceded by to, make two passive sentences, and if the indirect object is preceded by for, make one passive sentence. Again, you can pause the video, try these on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, number 5 would be a book was chosen for the children by Mr. Smith. Number 6, a ball was tossed to Melissa by Damon. Melissa was tossed a ball by Damon. Here are a few more. Again, if the sentence has the indirect object preceded by to, make two passive sentences, and if it's preceded by for, make one passive sentence. Again, pause the video, try these on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. So number 7, a cake was cooked for my friends. Number 8, coffee was served to the guest, or the guests were served coffee. Number 9, a worksheet was printed for the students. Number 10, a beautiful song was sung to the crowd. The crowd was sung a beautiful song. Continue. Again, pause the video, try these on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. So a gift was bought for her, a pizza was ordered for us, the married couple was given money, or money was given to the married couple, you were assigned the report was assigned to you. So it's not always easy to know if the indirect object is preceded by for. Here you can see the prepositions for and to. The man gave the book to the child. The boy bought a gift for his friend. But in these sentences, to and for are not used. The man gave the child a book. The boy bought his mother a postcard. So a dictionary can help you understand which preposition to or for comes after ditransitive verbs. So here are some examples of the other ditransitive verbs that can take to or for. See if you can make some active sentences and then some passive sentences with each of these verbs. And feel free to share your sentences in the comments. I'll be glad to give you some feedback, or you can practice giving feedback to the other students. And remember that two object verbs preceded by for have only one passive sentence in American English. All right, so we have a quick summary here. So if you have an intransitive or no object verb, the passive is not possible. If you have a transitive or one object verb, the passive is possible. And a ditransitive or two object verb, the passive is also possible. And again, in the comments, if you'd like to write some examples of each verb type, feel free to do that in the comments with your explanations, and I'll be happy to give you some feedback. So read these sentences. The doctor declared the patient dead, the voters elected Helen Gregson president, and the priest announced Rajiv in situ husband and wife. So what is the direct object in each of these sentences? And go ahead and take a guess at that. If you'd want to write your answers in the comments, that would be great. These are a little bit trickier. So the direct object is clear, but what is the part in italics? So here, patient is the direct object, Helen Gregson is the direct object, and Rajiv and situ are the direct object, but these words in italics. So those are what are called complements, and the complement often describes something about the direct object. They're actually could be considered an adjective in a way. So complex transitive or object complement verbs. So the structure is subject plus verb plus direct object plus complement. She called him a thief. The lawyer proved her guilty. The doctor kept the patient alive. The parents named their baby William. They made him the leader. So you can make a passive sentence from object complement verbs. The direct object of the active sentence becomes the subject of the passive sentence. So they made him the leader. He was made the leader, but you notice that you have to change from the object form, if it's a pronoun, to the subject pronoun. So the object pronoun him would become he in the subject form, because you cannot say him was made the leader. So the direct object of an object complement verb is often a person. So the doctor kept the patient alive. The patient was kept alive by the doctor. Now express these sentences with object complement verbs in the passive, and don't express the agent. In other words, you don't need to say by so-and-so or by this or that. You don't need to say the agent. So go ahead and pause the video, try these on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. So their baby was named Ethan. The lost man was presumed dead. Their teacher was considered unprofessional, and he was elected chief. Now you're going to change the passive sentences with object complement verbs into the active voice. Again, you can pause the video, try these on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. So the scientists proved the theory wrong. The students didn't consider the passive difficult. The judge has declared the woman innocent, and the babysitter didn't keep the children quiet. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Please like, subscribe, share, leave comments, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.